ourselves again, but first we want to thank President-elect Meyer for being here, Treasurer Fry, Gloria, members of the Leadership Academy Advisory Board, Stacy Dawson, and other distinguished guests. I am Rich Cosgrove with the Stark County Association of Realtors, and I'm sorry Pete is here. I didn't see him earlier, so President Koff, thank you. Sorry, we thought you left us.
I am Debbie Hafner with the Toledo Regional Association of Realtors.
I'm Amy Marinello with the Wayne Homes Association of Realtors.
And I am Joann Zettl with the African Association of Realtors.
So on our first session, we were charged with familiarizing ourselves with grants from the National Association of Realtors, choosing a grant, and choosing a community in which we wished our grant to happen. So we chose the state of Ohio for our community, and we wrote an Issues Mobilization grant in the amount of $500,000 to implement a first-time homebuyer savings account program. It's important to note that our association must contribute 25% of the requested amount, which is $125,000, and currently Ohio Realtors have about $500,000 available in the Issues Mobilization Fund. Similar to a 529 savings plan used to fund college education, first-time homebuyer savings account would allow individuals to deposit dollars into a designated account and receive tax benefits. These funds would then be used for costs associated with buying a first home only in the state of Ohio. Specifically, the legislation would allow for the creation of a first-time homebuyer savings account. Funds from anyone, including nonprofits, would be deposited into the account. Individual taxpayers may deposit up to $5,000 annually, and couples, if they file taxes jointly, can deposit up to $10,000 annually.
Here's a brief history of this issue. At the 2016 National Association of Realtors legislative meetings, the Public Policy Committee discussed first-time homebuyer savings accounts at length. In response, the National Association of Realtors created model legislation for associations to pursue this legislation. This past May in Washington, D.C., at the 360 sessions, the National Association of Realtors promoted and encouraged associations to pursue the first-time home buyer savings account legislation. These statistics were shared. 5 states, with the help of their association, have signed first-time home buyer savings accounts into law. At least 8 states have introduced new legislation on first-time home buyer savings accounts in 2017. And on a federal level, bipartisan legislation was introduced in Congress on June 7th of this year to amend the IRS code to provide tax-preferred savings accounts for first-time home buyers.
As we are aware, home ownership matters. Home is the center of our lives. Homes are the backbone of our communities. When our children go to school, where we form attachments to our neighbors, and where we participate in civic life. Numerous studies have demonstrated that homeowners vote, volunteer, and contribute more to their neighborhoods. Homeownership supports and creates American jobs. Housing is a key driver of our state economy. The stability that homeowners provide reduces crime and supports neighborhood upkeep. Based on studies conducted by the Ohio Association of Realtors, the impact of increasing first-time home buyers on the state economy is significant. The percentage of first home buyers will increase. A percent of homes sold will be new construction. Tax revenues generated will more than offset the tax revenues required to implement the program.
There are numerous factors that make this issue critical. The U.S. home ownership rate is stuck at a near 50-year low. There has been a steady decline in the number of first-time home buyers. According to the National Association of Realtors annual profile of home buyers and sellers, the percent share of first-time home buyers in the past 3 years is 33%, which is below the long-term historic average of near 40%. Last month, WalletHub.com presented an article, States with the Most and Least Student Debt, in which Ohio was ranked #1 as the state with the worst ratio on measures of debt and earning opportunities used in the study.
Recently, Realtor.com published 2 articles, one titled, "We Bought a Home Rather Than Splurge on a Wedding," which was published in August of 2017. This article reinforces the idea that young people are faced with decisions when it comes to buying a home. The article talks about a couple who knew they wanted to buy a home, but also wanted a memorable wedding. Since they were faced with high prices of homes and expensive wedding venues, they had a decision to make. The driving force behind their decision was to buy a home because they were not swimming in cash. The average wedding cost $31,213, which is obviously a nice down payment for a first-time home. A deposit into a first-time home buyer savings account in the lucky couple's names would have made a perfect wedding gift. The other article, titled "Most Millennials Want Homes But Don't Even Have $1,000 in Savings," written in May of 2017, reports that most millennials want to purchase homes but don't even have $1,000 in savings. This is mostly due to the fact that they carry a lot of student debt. And in order to move to some of the best jobs, millennials have to live in some of the most expensive states. This makes it more difficult to save. Also, the fact that throughout the country, increases in home pricing are outpacing wage growth. Millennials' plans to purchase a home are being pushed further and further into the future, which could have a serious impact not only on their long-term financial stability, but also on the future of the real estate market.
Despite being in the prime years to buy their first home, an overwhelming majority of millennials with student debt currently do not own a home and believe this debt is to blame for what they typically expect to be a 7-year delay from buying. This is according to a new joint study released on Monday by the National Association of Realtors and nonprofit American Student Assistance.
First-time homebuyer savings accounts are in alignment with the mission and vision of Ohio Realtors. Mission statement: the purpose of the Ohio Realtors is to assist member associations in serving the needs of our members and to advocate public policies beneficial to the real estate industry. Vision: to be the leading force advancing the real estate industry and preserving the private property rights in Ohio. We believe this legislation is beneficial to the overall real estate business and advances the real estate industry as a single voice of homeowners.
As the Ohio Realtors, this legislation will build stronger relationships with our members, our local associations, the public, and our coalition partners as we work through a coordinated effort to pass this legislation. This initiative provides a framework to educate home buyers on down payment options and affordability. There are many pressures on individuals and family budgets, such as rent, student loan payments, car loans, child care, health care, and other routine expenses. With all these pocketbook pressures, saving for a down payment and closing costs can be a significant challenge. All members of the Ohio Realtors are impacted by the challenges that first-time home buyers face, including the lack of funds for down payment, inspection fees, closing costs, and fees associated with obtaining a mortgage.
So our team of the 2017 Ohio Realtors Leadership Academy is asking for your support and encouraging our leadership to begin the necessary steps to provide home buyer savings accounts for all Ohioans. By incentivizing savings for a down payment and associated costs with purchasing a first home in the state of Ohio, a first-time home buyer savings account program could help thousands of Ohio residents become homeowners for the very first time and have an opportunity to invest in their future. Ohio Realtors have not adopted a policy on this issue. In addition to completing our assignment, our main goal was to provide the framework that the association can use to pursue the legislation. 13 states have passed the legislation or are pursuing legislation. Ohio needs to be next. Thank you.